Hello, everybody. All right, and we're live. Welcome to the No Nonsense live stream. I'm Yaga. How we doing this wonderful Sunday afternoon? Oh, man, tired. Work sucks, but what are you gonna do? That's life, right? Real quick, I just want to give a shout out and a little plea for help to the comedian Owen Benjamin. He's been banned from YouTube and Twitter, and I've been following him since almost since he started doing all of his live streams. I've actually said in on his live streams, and if you don't know who Owen Benjamin is, he's a comedian who back in the fall said pretty much took a stance against having an opinion on giving hormone blockers to kids, and that kind of blackballed him from Hollywood. And he's been working hard on his own ever since, and he keeps getting banned on Twitter and YouTube. And you know, it's one of those things with Owen. I've been watching his live streams. I've been a part of most of them. If not, I watched them later since like the beginning of them. I understand where he's coming from. I know him. Seems like he's a cool dude. He's just a funny cat, and he's honest. And you know, I think when you come to like Twitter and YouTube and stuff, if you just read headlines or heard something, say something, people react to it. You know, it's been like a common theme in my other live streams where I talk about when people just hear something and they react to it, and that's it. They don't dig in any deeper. They don't look up to see if this dude's legit or if he's really this way. Like, Owen Benjamin's not a racist. He doesn't care. And so I don't need to defend him like that. He can speak for himself. But this whole banning because he's talking stuff on YouTube and just being honest, it drives me nuts, man. You know, who's got the right to like ban anybody from anything, really? I mean, say whatever the fuck you want. If you don't like it, just, you know, go away. And I found in this world that if you can't always hear what you want to hear. Sometimes you need to hear what you don't want to hear in order to grow. You know what I mean? And I mean, shit, I don't want to hear stuff all the time, but sometimes there's things I need to hear that I don't want to hear. In my world, you know, it would be a perfect little Yaga's world too, but that doesn't happen. Here's my coffee. So anyway, everybody, I'm an unbearable too. I'm Yaga Bear, and it's what we call ourselves in the Unbearables. So shout out to the Unbearables too. I know I'll find another way, but I see past all this stuff. People are like, well, if he's saying shit, that's what he deserves. I'm like, you're not seeing the point here. The point is about censoring people who are using their freedom of speech on purpose, you know? Hell, just because I'm talking about it, this video probably won't get any views either after it's done live streaming, but that's okay because I do this for myself too, so whatever, man. But help Owen Benjamin get to Twitter, get to YouTube, bombard them with emails if you can, Unbearables, and thanks. And I just want to give a shout out because I think he's really a down-to-earth dude. You can tell I'm a middle-class working American who strives to be funny, and I've had money, I haven't had money, been broke, had jobs, haven't had jobs, know what it's like to be a part of a group, know what it's like to not be a part of a group, and I see all those angles, so I totally get where he's coming from, and he's just a cool dude. So, and he's funny. Watch his comedy, dude. I like his comedy. It's fucking good. I'm a fan of anybody who's funny, but the whole point of this whole thing is don't let people censor you. You know, I like when people are like, don't swear. Don't you swear. Stop saying that language. I go, fuck that, dude. I can't stand when people tell me to like not swear. Like, why? Well, there's kids around. There's no kids right now. It's like, fuck it. It's like, say whatever you want to say, do whatever you want to do. But well, there's consequences for what you say. I'm like, is it? They're just words, man. They didn't actually physically do anything, you know. Words are just words. Words are what keep us from killing each other. If you think about it, we need to have words, man. So, anyway, help Owen Benjamin. He's a good guy. Get to his YouTube and subscribe. Watch his live streams. You know, it reminds me of like people who burned books back in the day just because of the title. They don't even know what the book was about because they never read it. You know what I mean? You need to read the book of Owen Benjamin first before you go over there and start deciding to burn the book of him. Um, and my fucking cat's trying to get in. Hold on. Fucking asshole. God damn it. God damn. Excuse me. Whatever. Fucking cat. Anyway, shout out to him. And like I said, man, it reminds me of book burning. You know, that was a form of like censorship. We don't want you to read these books, so let's burn them. And you just have titles of books, but you don't know what the fuck they're about. Did you ever read them? That's beyond ignorance. It's just psycho. You know what I mean? That's some really fucked up, crazy psycho way to like not deal with things you're scared of. I don't even know why you would be scared of the truth. But people are, apparently. People are very scared of the truth. Nobody likes the truth. I get why it's all covered up with a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, moving on. So I saw Ready Player One. Pretty good movie. I mean, it's not spectacular. It's not terrible, but it was cool. I didn't read the book. I didn't really know much about it. I just knew it was a book. They made it a movie. There's a lot of pop culture, nostalgia references, stuff like that. If you're a gamer, it's definitely your kind of movie because it's, you know, pretty much like living in a virtual reality. But to me, I saw a lot of things in that movie just about today's world. You know, people wanting to escape reality. Though, spoiler alert, in the movie, the reality that people are living in is pretty dog shit. I mean, it's like cities of trailers on top of trailers. It sounds kind of, I mean, if that's how life really was today, yeah, I'd probably want to be in virtual reality too all the time and be some, you know, avatar of myself, living fantasies, because the real reality that those people were living in the movie sucked. So for that aspect, I understand why they want to do it, but then I look at it just as today, where people are, you know, like buried into your cell phone just constantly, and it's getting worse. It's not getting any better. And you just look around at everybody. It's just everything. Facebook likes, Snapchats. Are they watching? Well, YouTube's cool, but or they're on Twitter doing something crazy. And when you see this stuff, and people would rather be there on their phone than actually, you know, in reality around themselves. You know, that I saw a lot of that in the movie. It just made me think about people today. And I mean, I work in the restaurant industry, and I see people constantly. They're out on dates, or their entire families, and they're all sitting there on their phones. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's something that I've never got. I still don't get to this day with smartphones, you know? Like, but I guess, like, since it's been so new, it's only been out not even a decade yet, and we got to get used to it. But still, I mean, it's just like, are we so quick to just have those short, like, sighted goals that's all we want to do? Is like in Snapchat, you got the whole bit emoji thing, which looks like a nice little cartoon character of yourself, which actually is pretty cool. I've always wanted to be a cartoon. So why on my YouTube channel, there's a stick figure me, you know, with animations. I think it's neat to do animations, you know. So, I don't know. Back to the actual movie, though. It was good. A little bit too much CGI, though, for me. I have I mean, it's good CGI, but like I can't stand movies that are like all CGI like the entire time, you know. It's like Toy Story was an exception because that was okay, and you know, but I'm talking about like real life, and then it's CGI. I don't know. So a little too much CGI, but it was cool to see all the throwbacks, man. Like all the fucking pop culture nostalgia, you know. The main character in there, Wade, has, you know, he uses a DeLorean, you know, for racing from Back to the Future. That's awesome. That was one of my favorite movies growing up. And it seems like a typical story of like, here's a big corporation, we want to just sell, 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 and you know, some humble kid seeing what a guy's true vision of life was. The Halliday guy who created this whole virtual thing, the Oasis, it's called. You know, I could see that too, where it's like, oh, why can't we just, you know, go back to this and be simple? Yeah, why can't we be simple, man? I feel sometimes like we try to overcomplicate things in this world. Everything can be really simple. We just kind of choose not to be so simple. And nope, you got to make more money, have more stuff. You know, see, I got into marketing, and marketing is just, oh man, it just uses everything, all your desires and wants against you to like sell you something. And that's why I can't do marketing anymore. I don't know, I did a lot of it at the Brick Lounge, and it's just, I don't know. I gotta be honest with myself. I just don't like doing it. I don't like deceiving people. I like being honest with people, but I'm not going to deceive you in that honesty. I'm just going to be honest, you know. Telling the truth is not deceiving people, I don't think. I hope not, but eh. But the movie was good. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's a good movie. You know, for whatever reason, it's not raking in that much. I mean, it's not fucking glorious, but there are some really cool parts in there, like when they do the whole challenge. Spoiler alerts again for the Shining. You know, you see like the Shining, and it's the hotel and everything like that, and parts of the Shining movie, which was cool, and that's a great movie. So that was neat. The guy, the Halliday guy, like his avatar is like this wizard dude, and it reminds me of if you ever go to Wisconsin Dells, there's a place called Wizard Quest. He reminds me of a wizard you would see in Wizard Quest as you're doing all these little challenges for that. That's what it reminded me of. And if you don't know what Wizard Quest is, then that won't make sense. But if you do, hey, you're fucking awesome. But it gets me to all the pop culture stuff, man. And I feel like that's where I got a lot of my connections through my early 20s and stuff, my young adult years, where like anything I grew up with, movies, video games, board games, shit like that, TV shows that were on, all that pop culture stuff. You know, we think it's, you know, in hindsight, we're like, well, that was the 80s. It was dumb. At least I do. And I think it brings people together. Like, not only were some of the shows and like movies I watched, like movies I still watch today, but like, I just remember the moments of that. There were like good moments surrounding that, like with friends and family, you know what I mean? So I can relate to good times in life. Because the way I look at it, everything in life is just about good times in certain moments. Like happiness isn't something you achieve. That's why it's called the pursuit of happiness. It's something you constantly work towards, and you find moments of it here and there. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not obtainable. It's just short little moments that you can just grasp in the here and now when it happens, you know, and to just be in the moment. But I remember like when I was a kid going to my grandma's house, and I'd be playing like Nintendo with like my uncle, and that was awesome. And we'd be up like freaking, I spend the night at my grandma's house. We'd be up late playing fucking all kinds of 8-bit ridiculous Nintendo games. To me, it's a fond memory. It's really, you know, it hits home. That's why I like this movie. You know, seeing the DeLorean Back to the Future was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I was obsessed with that movie for many years, and I loved it. I love the car. I love how the driving, just the, you know, the time machine, just the whole concept of me always blew my mind. And there was a time I could recite so many things about that movie that I just remembered. Like, you know, what was the little, you know, little details I would ask friends about, and we would just quiz each other to how much we knew about the movie. But and you think of like old 80s cartoons, man. I love old 80s cartoons. Like I grew up on, you know, who didn't grow up on Transformers, or I watched Super Mario Brothers, whatever you want to call it. and it's a crap cartoon, but it's great. Or the Legend of Zelda cartoon. This is still the only live action Legend of Zelda we ever got was the cartoon. It's not a great piece of pop culture history, but it's still fucking cool, man. Because I remember it came on Fridays. It was 4 days, Monday through Thursday was Super Mario Brothers, and on Fridays they had the Legend of Zelda. And originally, the first season of Super Mario Brothers had Captain Lou Albano, and I forget the other guy's name who played Luigi, but they were live action Mario and Luigi. Lou Albano was Mario, though. I know that much. And they actually had if you watch it, I've got those on DVD, and you watch that first season, they actually had a lot of celebrities come up there as guest stars throughout that show, which, I guess at the time they're like, hey, fuck it, we're going to try this. I'm sure like now it's been almost 30 years later and people are like, fuck that. How did I do that? Captain N, the Game Master. There's a lot of video game cartoons. What else? Saturday morning cartoons in general. Remember those? I liked getting up at like 7 a.m. on a Saturday just so I can watch cartoons. I don't know why. Now, I mean, I don't know what the fuck's on Saturday mornings for the kids, if there is anything. I don't watch any TV that much anymore, believe it or not. I'm actually just on YouTube. But God, what other pop culture stuff was awesome, man? I don't know, something about these things over time, movies, I think about the 90s too, with blockbusters that brought us together. Like, I don't know, there's a good string of movies in the 90s. Like, I feel like from 1994 to 1996, there was a shit ton of movies and music that was just awesome. You think about movies from 94 to 96, what do you got? 94 was Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump. What else? Shit. I don't know. There were other things. Music, 94, you had Black Hole Sun, Soundgarden. You had 95 was 9 Inch Nails, Closer. Filter, Hey Man, Nice Shot. I mean, I don't know. Like these things come out, and then as time goes on, you look back on them. At least it's how I do it in my life. I don't know how you are, but I know a lot of people that are into this nostalgia stuff, like I am too, like Super Mario and all that shit. But I don't know. I look at it, I relate to it with really good moments in life, and I think that's why some people my age or a little older really are digging Ready Player One. I want to read the book. I'm probably going to read the book, and I heard the book is actually, of course, the book's better than the movie. The book's always better than the movie. And I want to check it out, though. I think it'd be neat. I'm in between. I'm reading 2 books right now, so I'll get there. I'm a slow reader. I'm not I'm not the best reader. I do audio, and then I follow along on a hard copy because I retain it much better than me just actually trying to read it. I just can't. I guess I fall back. I'm easily fucking distracted. So, yeah, man, fucking. What are the movies I grew up? Blues Brothers, Blazing Saddles. Like, love old comedies. Fucking Blazing Saddles is a great movie. Blast that. Try releasing that movie today. People would flip their shit because they're so fucking sensitive. You would talk about the N-word. Well, yeah, they just threw it in there like it was nothing in Blazing Saddles. And it's funny because Blazing Saddles, like everybody talks about it, like that's a good movie. Like nobody's got a problem with it. Why do people have a problem with it today? How is it that I feel like as time is going on in this world, we're getting worse at dealing with stuff when things before were okay? You know what I mean? Like, it was fine back then to make a movie or talk about this stuff. Now you can't say that. Why? I don't get it. I don't know. Does that make sense? And if you haven't seen Blazing Saddles, for God's sakes, man, what are you doing with your life? Go see Blazing Saddles. Watch that movie. It's a fucking comedy masterpiece of all calibers. Probably my favorite Mel Brooks movie of all time was definitely Blazing Saddles. I don't know, man. Censorship is a scary thing. Like, you just try to pretend like these things didn't happen, and if we didn't know they happened, would the rest of the world be okay? I'm like, Trying to pretend and erase history is not smart. History is there to show us, to learn from it, to go, I probably shouldn't do that. I mean, people are like, well, that's not it, man. No, like, well, here. This is what I do to help me deal with that. Oh, shit. Break it down just onto your own individual life, okay? Look at all the mistakes in your own personal life. Look back on them. Did you learn from any of them? Do you not make some of those mistakes? Now, is there some things that were so horrible you don't want to remember? Maybe, maybe not. But you know deep down that that is what made you the person you are today, and you're still going. That if none of that shit happened, who would you be today? Just a fucking mindless zombie going, I do everything right. I pay my bills on time. I've got this and that and material stuff. Because if that's all it is, it always comes down. That's what I think. That's my theory. It just comes down to material shit. But what about your fucking soul, man? What does that say about you? Oh, fucking kid. Hold on. God damn it. Get out. Jesus. The man behind the curtain. I can never do a fucking live stream or a podcast without the fucking cats. Anyway, I'm frustrated. I'm sorry. See that? All I have is control over my reaction to that. And a little cat can piss me off. And I love him, but what an asshole. Anyway, what the fuck was I just talking about? Oh, looking back on your own individual life, right? Think about, like I said, just think about the history of your life. Go back, look at it, and learn. You've learned from your mistakes, man. At least, you know, if you're my age, like I'm 34, and that's a good amount of life. You know, if you're a fucking young kid, I don't know, you probably don't know shit yet. So I don't understand why people are like, let's listen to the kids in the school. I'm like, no. If you're older, if you're above 30, ask yourself this question. Would you really listen to 17-year-old you? I wouldn't. If I can go back in time, I sure as hell would not listen to 17-year-old me. 17-year-old me was an idiot. But then again, what 17-year-old isn't an idiot? You're just figuring out life. You're just coming into your own. And now all of a sudden, you know, here's the world. I wouldn't trust me back then. But then again, I feel like if you go through that whole part of your life and you get to where you're at now, fast forward 15 years, I mean, that whole chunk of time, you've gone through good things, bad things, horrible things, wonderful things, amazing things. And that all those experiences are what make you the person you are today. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Now, when I was a little bit younger, I was like, why is this happening to me? A lot of self-pity shit, a lot of woe is me. But then the older I get, the more I look at it, I go, God damn, you know what? That shit made me stronger today. Without all those bad things happening to me, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't have any perspective. I wouldn't have the knowledge I have today in order to work on myself today and move forward. I don't know. To me, that's more valuable than like pretending shit never happened in the past and let's just cover it up and censor everybody. No, man, that's fucking ridiculous. Say what you say. But I also believe in don't just take one action or area of your life and focus in on that. Because let's be honest, think about yourself. And if you took one thing you did wrong in this world and everybody focused in on that, and that's all they ever saw of you, didn't give a fuck about any of your other accomplishments, achievements, actions, any of that stuff. And they just focus in on that because that's what it seems like they're doing in mainstream media. They just focus in on what somebody said, somebody tweeted or did, and that's it. That's the image of the person forever, right? You know, that's bullshit. I don't agree with that at all. Like, people fuck up. People make mistakes. It's the person's responsibility to hopefully grow from those mistakes and not keep fucking up again, you know? Sometimes it takes a few tries. You're like, nobody's perfect. I'm not. took me, I've always found out shit the hard way, never found it out the easy way. Then again, what is the easy way? Pretending that nothing's bad out there and just all of a sudden, thinking like it's just a magic utopia world that we all live in and everything's rainbows and sunshine and we can all get along. No, that's unrealistic, man. People have people have different personalities, but I try to put certain principles above even my own personality, because if I do that, it allows me to accept people for who they are and actually live a lot more calm in my day-to-day life. And the noise between my ears is at a nice calm level 2, instead of the volume turned up at 11 where I'm constantly worried about shit. Because I used to be a worrier. High anxiety. I grew up as a kid with high anxiety, man. I used to have these anxiety attacks when I was a kid for no reason, usually because I was too excited to go somewhere. Like we used to go out to a place called Santa's Village when I was a kid. I used to get so excited I would freak out. My parents like, oh, it's just having an anxiety attack again. They didn't know. I mean, this is the 80s and early 90s, so it was what it was. But that shit transitioning into adulthood fucking sucks. Then you got all this weird fear shit. Then you realize it's all in your head. And it really is. 99.9% of the shit that we worry about, or at least I worry about, or worried about, is all my fucking head. It's not happening. It's not reality. It's not really going on. I think this motherfucker's talking shit. Turns out it's really not him. I just think they're talking shit, And I'm sure people have thought that way, or at least you think you've been down that road. Hell, I've done it. But I've realized, no, it's probably just me. Almost 100% of the time it's me. So, but this fucking back to this censoring shit. When you just try to erase bad things that happened or people said or did or what you think is bad so you can protect the future generation or something like that, you're just really making a generation of weak ass people. That's really it. Weak people that when they become adults will have no idea how to deal with fucking shit and will buckle under pressure and not know how to keep their composure. Today I can keep my composure because I was like half fucked up growing up. I had normal parents who just let me kind of do whatever and let me figure out my path. But then I also had this other voice in my ear, of which was society telling me like, oh, you need to better get a job. You better go to school. You better be educated. You better have a house. You better have kids. You better have a car. You better have mass amounts of debt by the time you're 25. Otherwise, you're a loser. Yeah, well, that fucked me up mentally because I'm worrying about all this shit that I think I had to do. But in reality, I didn't have to do any of it because it wasn't the path I wanted for myself. Today, I do everything I want to do and nothing that's not going to make me miserable. And that's a fucking, that's a day-to-day choice, man. I understand people got to work and you got other responsibilities and other interests in life. But I could tell you this much. Don't waste your life playing the safe road of just being secure in this little bubble because it's safe. Go crazy, man. Get out there. Do the shit that you've always, whatever is that voice in your head that's like, hey man, I really want to like travel or I want to try this and that. Fucking do it. You only get this one life. And it's sad because I know a lot of people, personal friends of mine that I see that just settled and did what they thought they were supposed to do. And now they're divorced, getting a divorce, going through all kinds of financial shit. And it's just it's this bullshit story we're told about, this is the way to the light, man. You want to have a 401k and some retirement money and blah, blah, blah. All this shit to prepare for your future, but never prepare for the now. And the now is right now. It's crazy, isn't it? Right now is the only time you have. I don't know, tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Yesterday's over. But you learn from your past. Don't pretend like it never happened. I have a nice open door to everything I ever fucking did wrong in my life. I remember because I lived it, so I see it. But it doesn't hurt me because I don't allow it to, if that makes sense. at least in my experience, this is where I find a lot of my own personal fear and anxiety came from, was worrying about shit that already happened and worrying about things that aren't happening or haven't happened yet. So I don't know. Don't censor fucking people. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't, like I see Owen Benjamin getting censored here on YouTube, and it's like, dude, the guy's just speaking his honest opinion. He's not a racist. He's not anything like that. But if you were to just come across even my videos, for example, I've got like almost 190 videos on YouTube. Just pick one of them, one of my old videos, and something I'd said, people be like, oh, you see what he said back in his video? Like, I did, or whatever. And they could take that one piece and try to make that the person you are. And that's too simple of a way to define a human being, because we're way more complex than that, than just one thing you say. We're a million different things. We're a bundle of emotions. We're a whole different kinds of, everybody's got different kinds of personality. But when we can come together and find those similarities in one another, man, that's when we can grow together. There's so many similarities, but yet whatever there is in this world, we try to look at all the differences. You're like, oh, I mean, think about, just bust it down to dumb shit with your friends. I did. I used to compare myself to certain friends because this is how I know. And this is what I don't do anymore. Like, oh, I've got my car. I've got my nice little Saturn. It's a great car. I've had it for 11 years, gets me to A to B. And then there's my friend over there with the Lexus. And you're like, oh, why don't I have the Lexus? You're like, but you didn't earn the Lexus. You didn't work for it. But then again, you have to ask yourself, even if you had the Lexus, would you be any different up here in your head? No, you would just have a Lexus. You know what I mean? You're still you, no matter where you go. It's like if you move to a different state or a different town, and you think that's going to fix you. Well, if I'm just in a different location on this earth for some fucking reason, I'm going to be happy. Maybe. I mean, if you're living in fucking Alaska, that's the Arctic. Yeah, maybe you should move somewhere warmer. I don't know. That might help your attitude a little bit. I don't know. I've never lived in Alaska. But, what's that? It's Confucius says, I think it's Confucius, no matter where you go, there you are. Meaning, you're you anywhere you're at, whether you're living in Illinois, Alaska, Cambodia, wherever. You're fucking you. And so location doesn't really matter, man. But I don't know. I found it takes a lot of practice daily to not let emotions make your decisions. And we live in an age where social media, Jesus, man. I mean, just go on Twitter, say something, and just watch people flock to that and give their opinions like right away. Just say anything, and then you'll get a list of stuff. Just go up there and be like, just something that's easy, like be like, Trump's a fucking idiot, and people will be like, yeah, and some people be like, what are you talking about? Like it's just like, it's like a fly to the light. It's almost like here in America, we like being attracted to bullshit. And it's like if we're so attracted to the bullshit, we feel like we're doing like something, like being a part of the solution, but not really. We're just being distracted by what's going on. You know what I mean? We're not actually doing anything to fix anything. But then again, I don't know. I'm just talking out my ass right now, if this makes any sense. Be good to yourself and be good to others, man. And that's really as simple as it is. All this other shit, even this fucking, all this stuff I have, cameras, live streams, it's great. Use that to get good messages out, not the shit messages, which, unfortunately I see in mainstream media. That's why I don't watch news that much anymore, but it's leaked into everything I like now. Like, I used to be able to turn on late night TV, and I liked the late night shows. I used to watch Conan and fucking Jay Leno when they were on, and that was fun, and that was good. You tuned in, you're entertained, just a little bit of escape from reality, but like a good escape from reality, not too much. You don't want to just never be in reality, but you also don't want to be away too much either. I think you got to find a balance between the two. And then now you turn on late night, guys like Jimmy Kimmel are like, fuck Trump. It's all politics. And then it's all like, let's do some more gun control and this and that and the other fucking thing. And it's like, it's everywhere. It's like a fucking virus. It has spread to every crevice thing that we watch, do, are listening to, movies. Now it's everywhere. It's like, what the? Like, I want to know who's like pulling the strings behind all this shit. Like, honestly, because I feel like we're just, I don't know, being tuned in with nonsense. That's why I try not to engage in the nonsense, but what I just try to talk from my point of view. What can I do on my end? We've got this fucking picture that we should be doing this all, I don't know, like on this grand scale, like, you know, get some rallies, let's change the world. And that's not doing shit. You can't change the world that way. You have to change yourself, your reactions to things. It starts with you and you alone. And if you do that, hopefully other people see like, hey, this person seems to like, you know, they got their, you know, it's pretty tidy over there on their side of the street. What are they doing? And then you get attracted by that. Not promotion, but attraction. I just speak honestly from what I've lived in life and my point of view, and that's it. I don't bullshit people. Like the thoughts that come into my head about something, I just say them. And not everybody likes it, but I'm just being honest, you know? This whole like, don't, you know, because I was taught my whole life, like, don't say that, you know, mind my P's and Q's. I was a good kid, you know, I was a teacher's pet and all this stuff. Then you get to adulthood and it just kept me like fearful of being who I really am. Who I really am is just a dude who likes to entertain people, see them smile, and hopefully escape from reality for a few minutes until they let their problems get back into their head. Because that's what happens to all of us. You know, when we start worrying about shit, oh, am I gonna, you know, and you just see it with like working middle class people like myself. You know, everybody's always just like, I got to work more hours because I got to keep the roof over my head. And it's sad. Like that's what your whole life's about. Just working to keep paying bills, to keep a roof over your head. And then by the time you realize you wasted time, it's too late. I don't know. I've always found that just sad. And I don't know. It's weird. And people are like, well, you got to have responsibility. And I'm like, I'm not saying you don't have, you do have to have responsibility. Take responsibility for your shit. But don't let that be an excuse to not live and be who you are as a person is what I'm saying. I doubt, you know, you grew up thinking, my God, isn't it amazing to be a Walmart greeter? I'm not knocking that job. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that's what somebody woke up one day and was like, man, that's what I really want to do in life. You know, your hobbies are what make you. And whatever your hobbies are, I think, you know, like I do all kinds of shit, collect stuff, paint, music, fucking, I've always been into music. Music's a great escape, man. It's like a form of meditation, you know? Then you got to learn to balance that with work, you know, which I do. I still work a day job, you know? It's not like YouTube's paying anything. Fuck, they took away all my shit, to be honest with you. That's why I started doing live streams, because I'm not monetized anymore because I didn't have enough people. That's fine. I've always done this honestly, I've always done this because I'd made these videos for the first person I always wanted to for myself. And then if people liked them, great. I encourage people to do more shit like this for themselves. Like, just get it out. You know, talk to somebody about your stuff. Get out your feelings, you know, how you really feel. Like, you don't always have to go and be one of the sheep in the herd. You know, you can stray away. I'm a fox among the lemmings, man. I sit back, I watch, I look, I see how everything's going before I dive in today. You don't got to follow the herd, is what I'm saying. I followed the herd for a lot of years, and you know where it got me? Fucking nowhere. The bottom of a vodka bottle is where it got me, to be honest with you. And I don't know. Just don't follow the herd, man. Try to break yourself apart from what the norm is, especially if you feel it on the inside. See, I always felt it on the inside. I was like, dude, I just don't feel right doing this certain shit. Like sitting at a fancy restaurant with like a fucking sport coat on, looking at some fucking food I can't even pronounce, and I go, ho, this must be really good. I'm like, it's nice, but I still like a good old mom and pop meal down at, Grandma Crackers over there, and eating biscuits and gravy's fine. I don't care. Or, I've been on all kinds of sides of the spectrum, man. And I know where I'm more comfortable at now. I'm more comfortable talking with people who are, one, just honest. And I could tell people as soon as I meet you if you're honest or not, just by your character. Character speaks volumes to me. That's what I care most about is individuals, is their fucking character. I don't care where you work, what your job is, where you came from, none of that shit. I care about you as a person, how you treat others. If you're cool with me, I'm probably going to be fucking cool with you, man. I care less. But if I meet you and after 30 seconds of talking to you, I could tell what kind of character you are. Like I've had that gift to tell what people are just by shaking their hand. And there's been a few people I shake their hand and I go, yeah, you're an asshole. Or you're not being honest with yourself. Like I could just tell. Well, how do you tell, Matt? I'm like, well, you shake a hand, you don't have a firm handshake. That does tell me a lot about you. Like it may be an old school thing, but there's something about that, and I can't quite explain it, but there's some truth to that. And I could tell 30 seconds to talk to people if they're gonna be honest or not. That's the key, man. Just be honest with people. Fucking thanks for the new subscriber I just got right there. Thank you. Appreciate that if you're watching. Thank you. But anyway, just try not to follow the herd, man. And don't even listen to me, because I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just saying I speak from my own experience. It's like I followed a herd and I did everything I wanted. Everybody else told me I should be doing. And oh, thank you. Was that Cherry Can? Cherry Can? Cherry Cane? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but thank you. Sweet. Thanks for the comment. Sometimes it is just me sitting here talking to myself, and that's okay, but hopefully people watch it later. And, that's why I recommended earlier that people go watch Owen Benjamin, the comedian's old live streams, because thank you. Yes, 500 subs. I know I'm trying to get to 1,000. I've been on YouTube for a few years, and it's such a slow growth. But if I can get to 1,000 eventually, these, the live streams are the whole reason I'm doing it now. But, like I was saying before with Owen Benjamin and his stuff, it's like if you watch all of his live streams and see what kind of man he is as a character, he's being honest. He's actually a good dude. And but then again, I understand, sometimes people don't have the time to like really dig into certain individuals and see how they are as people. We don't have time to go watch podcasts or videos all day and just see like, is this person really the person they say they are? Or are they just, oh my God, I'm guilty of it too. Just reading a headline, reacting, and then not going into a little bit more detail. That's why the last 3 years I've just been educating myself on YouTube, listening to podcasts. Joe Rogan's podcast, because he gets a lot of different people on there. I watch a ton of educational videos. I try to find just anything that's going to help me improve my life and as a person, because first off, nobody's fucking perfect, but I'm trying to progress further away from the shit that was dragging me down in my life. I'm well aware of that shit. Part of that shit was following the herd, man, and listening to everyone else. But I'm not saying I'm not open to interpretation, or I'm open to suggestions from people, because if I do everything I want to do, a lot of the time I'm just going to not do anything. My favorite thing to do is nothing. But I like to hear where people come from, because it gives me a perspective on life to know that we're all in this world together, man, and we're all trying to figure shit out. And I don't have the answers just as much as anybody else, but I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm trying to do it in a positive, uplifting kind of way, and I do that by the simplest ways. Be honest with myself, and I'm honest with others. And that's how we do it, man. Be honest with yourself and be honest with others. Not everybody's going to like you being honest, but you're not lying. And that will make you feel fine. You know, because I used to worry about what everybody thought. Am I pleasing this person? Are they going to feel this way? Are they going to feel that way? And today I just go, fuck it. This is me. But it's like I'm not intentionally like looking for fights or anything like that. But people ask me my opinion on something, I just fucking tell them. Do you think that dating a guy that has a fresh, brand new baby is a good idea? I'm like, no, you're probably a fucking idiot, and he's a man whore, so you should probably stay away from him. Maybe that's like my first thought. If he's got a new kid with somebody else right away, and he's not even around the baby mama, and you're just going to date him, yeah, you're probably a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You should probably rethink that, your dating scenarios. Maybe look at yourself. Like, probably haven't done a little work on yourself yet if that's the kind of person you're attracted to. Shit like that. You know what I mean? Honesty, man. That's honest. Anything anybody wants to ask or talk about, I have a couple people watching. This is nice. If not, I've been on here for over 45 minutes now. Jesus. That's a long one. That's okay. Could always come back on every Wednesday and Sunday, guys, at 12 noon Central Standard Time. I'll be doing these live streams, and my goal is to try to get 1,000 subscribers. I'm halfway there at 500. Thank you for the new subscribers, and I'm gonna get there. I got 500 more to go. Honestly, if people like and share this stuff, I found that's the best way this stuff works. To rely on YouTube or anybody to throw that stuff up in feeds, there's just too much shit. There's just too much content. If you like what you hear, you like what you see, do what I do. I like something, I share it, or I'm on Twitter, retweet it, stuff like that. Whatever social media platform you're on. Use social media to your advantage. A lot of people are like, just get off that stuff. Don't even go on there. Facebook. It's like, yeah, you could do that to avoid like seeing all the shit, because there's a lot of negative crap on there that if you allow yourself to get sucked into it, you will. But you can also just use it to your advantage. Like if you do shit like this on YouTube, or make videos, or just want to talk, or whatever, blogging, whatever you fuck you do, it's great platforms to get your shit out there and promote yourself. Whether you have a business, just do it. Take it and roll with it as long as you can until the Orwellian hammer comes cracking down and they censor everybody and we're fucked. So just keep on doing it as long as you can. But I don't know. I don't know if they can actually censor everybody eventually, because there's just too many people in this world. I don't think people would really stand for like a 1984, I just don't think they would. I think if it got close to that point, people would people who have been sitting back, like pretending like nothing's happening, would eventually be like, you know what? No, this isn't going to happen. I don't know. I think most of those people are just sitting back waiting, see what happens. But, if it got to that ledge where we're about to jump off into that, I think there would be enough people to say no. So, I don't think it's going to happen. That's why I say don't live in fear. Right now, hey, YouTube's up and I still have my channel, thank God, and all that good shit. So, well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it up, because I've been yammering on here. I wanted to talk about Ready Player One, and I barely touched on that and went on some other stuff. But anyway, if you haven't seen that movie, it's not bad. It's not fucking, it's not award winning, but it's also not terrible. So if you read the book, maybe you'll like it. If not, from everybody I've talked to, they don't like it. Other than that, go help Owen Benjamin out on Twitter and YouTube here, because he got banned. So message, just hammer those people to try to get him back, because I don't know, man. I don't like seeing people get censored when they're being honest. I see a lot of crap I don't agree with. Would I not like to see it? Sure. But when I see stuff I don't agree with or don't like, it also reminds me that, I don't have to like or agree with that, and I can keep moving from it. But if I pretend like that shit didn't exist, that doesn't help me grow. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. you got to see shit you don't want to see sometimes as a reminder, because it'll tell you who you are about yourself, you know? What was that? That fucking book that I want to read that's really fucking long, The Gulag Archipelago. It talks about communist Stalin Russia, something like that, the Soviet Union, and how they had the camps and all this stuff. And that'll tell you what communism's all about, according to that book. But that's a fucking read. And I'll get there eventually. I got like 5 books in line right now. And eventually I'll get to that. You know what's funny is I never used to read, man, but now I find myself like the best suggestion I can give anybody now who's trying to improve life is just educate yourself. You know, don't rely on school or college or any of that bullshit. There's so much information available at your fingertips right here on the internet, but there's also a lot of bullshit. So be cautious and try to weed through the nonsense. And I think if you know yourself well enough, you'll know what's fucking bullshit and what's not, and you'll be able to tell. But if you can't, you know, dig a little deeper, you know, if you're not sure. I've like I said, I've seen countless videos and podcasts and all this shit, and I listen. That's what I do. I don't even watch television anymore. Like, I just stopped. Like, I haven't really watched any TV in over a year. Like, my little cable box thing burnt out, and I just didn't even get a new one. I just said, fuck it. Here you go. I don't need TV. I've got YouTube. If I want to watch anything, I just fucking search it down here. But, yeah, there's so much stuff, man. Find whatever you're interested in and go for it. Like, I don't know. And I find every time I open up a new door to something that's interesting that I find that's helping me, it opens up another door. And then I go in there and I root around a little bit. And all of a sudden I find another door. You know, I don't know. It's fucking fun. It's fun to know there's a never-ending, endless possibility of knowledge. I don't know. That's what I want. To sit there and just be like, man, I want life to be like this and just this always. Like, no, I don't think so. I used to think so, but I was also a lot younger and very naive and had no life experience. And, you know, that was a very short-sighted dream. But now it's more like, why would I want to stop there when the potential for the expansion of your mind and stuff is like endless? I don't know. That seems more intriguing to me than just being like, all right, got a house and kids and family, and we're taking pictures with Santa. I mean, I'm not knocking people who have families, because that is glorious, and I think families are wonderful. I love my family. You know, I got 2 sisters and a little nephew and all that stuff, and it's great. It's just, but, you know, to think like, you know, as each year goes on, it's just the same thing every year. It's like, nah, eventually that shit gets old and you got to do some other stuff, you know? You know, I don't watch those 80s nostalgia movies I grew up on anymore, like every day. Occasionally I'll plug one in, you know, like, you know, haven't watched whatever, Never Ending Story in like 10 years. You know, you watch it once and then you put it away for like 5-6 years and you're like, all right, that's good. You know, you revisit shit, but you don't need to, like, you know, I couldn't do it all the time. Like, if my catalog of life was only a certain amount of things for the rest of my life and that was it, I don't know. That just doesn't seem, it's not, like I said, it's not intriguing, right? If that makes sense. It's more like, I don't know. Oh, man. Like I said, expanding on reading. I don't know. I do audiobooks, if anybody's into audio. I do audio and hard copy books because I have to follow along because I can't read. I'm an auditory learner. I was never kinesthetic. Fuck that. I'm terrible at kinesthetic shit. But if you show me something, or I can listen, or I can do both, then I'll fucking get it. Other than that, yeah, new, thank you, sir. I remember having to read shit in school, and I was like, oh, fuck, do I have to read this? That's the other thing, too. Remember school? Like, you know, you're just reading all this shit that you didn't want to read. But, you know, like today, you could choose what you want to read. You could choose what you want to watch. I don't know, follow whatever that interest is. I keep saying that. But it's true. It really fucking is. All right. It's been about an hour. Thank you for the couple people that are watching and the like. I do appreciate that very much. If you want, I will be back here this Wednesday at 12 noon Central Standard Time for No Nonsense live stream again. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. If not, check out my other YouTube videos. I got a lot of comedy animations and a whole catalog of different shit that I've done over the last few years. Also, I do the Yaga Rambles podcast, which is every Friday afternoon at some random time. But you can download that and listen to it for free on SoundCloud at Yaga Rambles. Just put up a new episode this past Friday. And yeah, that's once a week. Follow me on Twitter at MJYaga. Also on Facebook at TWOYaga and Instagram at TWOYaga. And I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And thank you very much. And I will see you all on... Oh, fuck. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Bye-bye.